A little bit of a safety battle opening up here. This is for 5th, 6th place. This match, the loser of this match will receive 5th, 6th place, $850. And here we go. Ball in hand, Thorsten HOHMANN. Alex Pagulayan is in the hot seat. We're down to the final 6 players. Thorsten HOHMANN, Dennis, just starting their match now, and Vilmos Foldish and Ernesto Dominguez just started a match right next to us. This is from the one-loss side. These are races to 9. Zero, no score as of yet. First rack. Little too much, maybe a little too much spin or a little too much stroke on that shot. This is brand new cloth we are using. Simonis 860. Miscue. That's not ideal position, but most professional players should be able to handle it. And Dennis is one of them. First game, Dennis ORCULLO in this race to 9. Be sure to join us next weekend for the Hard Times 10 ball event. That'll be on Friday, July 15 through 17. Hard Times 10 ball will be $5,000 added. I believe that's a guaranteed added. Still time to get your entries in for the 5,000 added Hard Times 10 ball. It's going to be next week. POVPOOL will be there early, streaming some additional matches, so be sure to stay tuned to our website. And by the way, we apologize for the delay in providing results on our website to the One Pocket finals. I believe Geraldine is working on that a little later today to provide you guys with the comprehensive results of all of these events and all of these matches that happen. We truly apologize for any any deficits that we may have caused in the information flow. I believe right now, as I've never seen it before, I think Dennis is in the prime of his rotation game right now, both 10 and 9 ball. Dennis ORCULLO, he won the Cole Dixon 10 ball event that we broadcasted last week at Delbert Wong's California Billiards. Family Billiards in San Francisco. He defeated Francisco Bustamante in the final match. A final score of 11-2. What a nice safety by Thorsten. Basically what I'm getting into is that Dennis also, just a couple of days ago, defeated Bob Hershik in the finals of the one pocket portion of this event at California Billiards. I think you guys understand where I'm going with this. What is a little sad is that if he does win this event, We will not get to see him play at the Hard Times 10 ball because he has to go back to the Philippines. He's got to renew his visa and come back. He wants to come back as soon as possible, but he's got to go back to the States. Come back to the States in about, I think a minimum of 12 weeks. I don't know what their rules are there. Well, it was an effective hit, but I think maybe he was hoping to hold behind the 7, or maybe just trying to make the 1 ball in the corner pocket. This is a tough shot. Needs to miss the 5. He needs a little more speed. That was a tall order to get up there for that 3 ball. think Thorsten will go with a jump cue here. Thorsten's Lucasi sponsored player. Also sponsored by Kamui. On. Make them comfortable. Beautiful. Okay. My first guest today is going to be Chris Swart. He's going to join us here for a minute. Chris Swart's the owner of the joint. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. I'm awake.
Yeah, we're all awake. We're watching this match. Well, I want to thank you once again. It's been a wonderful. It's been actually great to be back working with you again.
Well, I have to thank you. It's been nice to have you here as usual. It's been a good event. I'm happy with it. Happy with the turnout and the quality that I got.
The one pocket was phenomenal. I think you kind of made history with the one pocket this year, and the 10 ball. I mean, we had players from all over the world come here. We had a pretty low turnout, but we did have just a fine quality of players, and we were able to get Moscone points, and
right.
So all in all, I think it's a major success for you, especially since you're just reopening. And well, that's actually been about a year now, hasn't it?
It'll be a year next month.
Wow, time flies.
This is true. But no, I'm a lot of people out there think that I might be upset with the numbers that came in on the 10 ball, but in all honesty, I'm not upset with the quality that came through. And it actually has kind of opened my eyes up to possibly doing something a little different next year with the 10 ball, and limiting the field and actually making it a little bit more expensive to get in to get even higher quality players in. Because I like the feel of the way it's going right now. It's been actually, it hasn't been the hustle bustle that we normally have to do to slam through 114 players. So it's been different. So I'm not, obviously originally I was kind of dumbfounded.
Yeah, open to 128, right?
Yeah. And I was a little dumbfounded on Friday, and I think everybody kind of was. But in viewing what's been going on and seeing the players and how much more relaxed they are, instead of having to play match after match after match until 2 in the morning, they've been able to actually concentrate and relax, and obviously a lot longer races, which I think brings the better players out.
Yeah, I can really appreciate that. I guess there's a silver lining to every cloud. Every cloud, right, has a silver lining.
But But yeah, I was absolutely happy with the one pocket. And a lot of guys that came that have not been here before.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Excellent play. Obviously, some of the matches went incredibly long, but
Yes, some of them did.
they were fun to watch.
They still were, yeah.
And a lot of people, talk to me about putting in shot clocks or, limiting, once you get down to a certain amount of balls, every ball above the head string, bringing it back to the spot. For me, it ruins the quality of what one pocket is.
Mm-hmm.
You start doing that, you start to change what the game is. For me, a 4-hour match is a 4-hour match. At times, can it be difficult to watch? Yeah, but it is what the nature of that game is. And if you're a true one pocket fan, you actually love seeing one pocket played
The way it's supposed to be, the way it was originally intended to be played. I agree with you 100%, Chris. Of course, you want to promote pool and you want to promote Q sports and these players and stuff, but one pocket's a big part of this game, and those are the people that we want to promote that game. So,
and there's a few players that were not able to make it that would have been here for the one pocket. Darren Appleton.
yes.
Shaw.
Yes, he wanted to come as well.
And Scott definitely wanted to come, but he wanted to concentrate on the match he has coming up. So.
Yeah, he has that action match with Efren Reyes coming up in Tucson at the Casino del Sol.
And then Ike Reynolds also had, I believe, an issue which didn't allow him to make it, and I know he wanted to. And Ike, if you're out there listening, I know you want me to give you a call, so I'll be doing that tomorrow morning.
.40.
Yeah, Dennis is in automatic right now.
Well, it's like I was saying to the audience a minute ago. I think Dennis is in the prime of his rotation game. I think he's improved even more than 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, it's one thing to see him pattern rack and soft break playing 9-ball to run 6 racks. It's another thing entirely to see him play so well playing 10-ball, call pocket. It's a much more difficult game. I think he's a little
well, he's
a little off this morning, but
yeah, he's
the
off.
first
he's off and he's up.
He's off every morning.
But I have noticed since he got here, starting with the one pocket, that he's been extremely focused all week.
He has.
He's not playing around. And he went through some major battles in the one pocket, and it doesn't look like it has affected him
at all.
For the
we played a quarterfinal match on the live stream table, and it ran late. So Ken Schumann forced him to play a 10-ball match. He went right over, played a 10-ball match against Alex Mason, and he ran basically the set out in 33 minutes. Race to 11, that's 3 minutes a rack.
Yeah.
And then he came back and played the semifinals.
Right.
And won.
Right.
Playing one pocket.
Right.
I mean, how do you like that action? People always say one pocket will mess up your stroke or whatever.
It affects it to a point. Anybody that plays one pocket knows it. If you play it long enough, you tend to lose your full stroke. But these guys play hours and hours every single day.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier for them to adjust and switch it up. And Dennis is just scrolling through everything right now.
He really is.
And just to let the audience know, I know that it looks like these are 5.5-inch pockets that he's hitting into right now because they're going in easily, but they are not.
4 and an eighth, right? 4 and a
Yeah,
quarter.
between 4 and a quarter, 4 and an eighth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the prior tournaments I had, my tables were normally set up at 4 inches.
Uh-huh.
And we decided this year to open them up a little bit more, only because it seemed to have affected one pocket a little bit more than anything else.
Okay.
And it seems to have made it a little easier to play bank shots at speed with the pockets just a quarter of an inch bigger, and allows the game to be played a little bit
More
speed.
conventionally.
Yes.
Well, that's Bustamante. He came up to say goodbye and check out of his hotel.
Probably in a hurry to go shopping.
And yeah, probably wants to get to the outlets. And came to say farewell, and I'll see you next week at the Hard Times 10 ball.
So I'm guessing Dennis dry broke there?
Yes, I believe so. I was talking to Boosty, but we do have Thorsten at the table.
And Thorsten's been playing well this week too. He's had some battles where he's come back from behind.
Yeah, I haven't been following Thorsten much lately, and so I don't really know. I don't know if he was at that Durn City Classic event that was in Europe, and I'm not really sure where he's been the last, year or so. What events he's been playing. But, for him to come out and play on these gold crowns, which I know he's probably not used to, he's in top 6 of this field, which is great. And, we are talking about a world champion here, so.
Yes, sir. So that's a good question. Do you happen to know where SVB has been hiding?
No, he's been tough to, since I've known him, he's been tough to track down.
Last I heard, I believe that he's in Vegas.
Well, he might be there because, the upcoming CSI events are happening. And I would imagine World Series of Poker is going on right now. So there's probably a ton of action there for him with poker players, probably giving up 22-4.
Sure. And stealing.
And stealing.
And stealing. You have a score on Ernesto and Vilmos?
Yeah, let me go and check that, Chris. I'll be right back. Looks like we got 6-0 here, though. I got Geraldine and Janet Okamoto working in tandem to get the score on the Ernesto Vilmos match.
Yeah, unfortunately, when I put this setup together here in the pit, I forgot to put anything to keep score with.
Throw beads up. You need the bead string. Yeah.
I guess it helps people pay attention from start to end.
Well, you know, we're all juggling here. You know what I mean? And it takes many to kind of like, you know, many hands make light work.
This is true.
We are seeing Ernesto clear up a nice little table, though. He's racking again and breaking.
I'll tell you what, I have so much respect for that man.
He's a hard-working man.
Yes, he is, and I am rooting for him to get as far as he can, because this man just was up here the week before we started and did 26 tables in 5 days.
Yep, and let's not forget the tables he did prior to that at Family Billiards, San Francisco.
That's correct.
And on Monday, he'll be at Hard Times down in Bellflower doing 20 of their tables for the upcoming Hard Times 10.
And mind you, playing the tournament.
Yes, as you can see, playing the tournament.
And playing good. And for the people that don't know, he had an eye injury last week, and he got a piece of metal in his eye. And so not only did he do my tables in 5 days with goofy DeWalt goggles on his head, so he couldn't get anything else in there, but he was having issues seeing.
I was not aware of that.
So for him to be where he's at right now and having the issues that he's had last week is a testimony to the man's willpower to succeed.
Not to mention, too, Ernesto's what, 64?
Oh, no, he's only 35. Come on. I'm going to be honest with you, he works harder than any 35, 20-year-old, 25-year-old. He's the hardest working man I know.
Mm-hmm.
And an excellent table mechanic. Anybody out there looking for one? If you need to wait.
Wait,
he is busy. But he is well worth every ounce that he puts in.
So Geraldine just texted me. It's 4-3 Vilmos ahead of Ernesto. But we did just see Ernesto break, but that might be the... I'll keep an eye on the coins. Yeah. If we didn't have Ernesto, who would we have, you know? Anyway, let's not worry about that right now.
So how have you been? How are you holding up?
I'm holding up. I tell you what, this is, you know, a test of stamina.
I bet.
You know. I think the last 2 years ago when we did West Coast Swing, the events weren't this close together. I think that there was like a week to a week and a half between events.
Yeah, mine fell on the 4th of July.
Okay, so...
And I believe...
Yours and families were close, but I think there was a 2-week lag after with...
it was about a week and a half.
With Hard Times,
yes.
yeah. So I have to go Oh, here we go. Thorsten on the board.
On the board.
But I'm doing okay. I'm loving these matches. I'm loving these events. The players are great. It's nice to see some old faces or familiar faces. I love coming to the Bay Area. You know, the California coast and the rooms here and the customers, the patrons, the players. I love them all. I mean, you know, it's such a colorful cast of characters. And, you know, I love what we do here, this West Coast swing. To me, I'm very passionate about it. I love having these back-to-back tournaments that, you know, really they could put any player to the test.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's just good training for a player as well.
Well, every year the competition seems to increase, gets better, brings different pros out. There's always a different element to every tournament. Obviously, you know, this year there was a lot of different elements, but I enjoy doing it. You know, I don't only just do it for the players. I do it for my customers. I know that
they like to see these players.
yes, and Delbert Wong as well, and family. Been doing this 30 plus years. He's the same way. It's all about his customers. They get to see players that they would never see anywhere else or have a chance to see. Every single one of these champions that comes down, they talk to customers, they hang out, they're fun to be around, and I enjoy it. I think my favorite player throughout the West Coast that I've done would be Shuff.
Yeah, it's always great to see him.
He has a smile on his face when he's here and when he leaves. And, you know, he unfortunately this year won out of the money on both tournaments.
Yeah.
But it didn't change that smile on his face. He enjoys playing, and he enjoys the atmosphere when he comes here, and it's pretty much wherever he goes.
Hey, just win or lose, Brandon Shuff always has a good attitude.
Absolutely.
Well, Thorsten is waving his battle flag now, isn't he? He ain't going away.
I think he wants to give Dennis a little rest on the chair.
Yeah. Six to 2, race to 9, and it looks like Vilmos is shooting a long 9 ball.
Another player that I've seen numerous times, you know, Maz events, some of the other events that I've done. Always fantastic player. Nice
Vilmos.
guy. Yes. And surprisingly excellent at what he does.
You say surprisingly excellent? You mean he amazes you with the shots that he goes for sometimes, or
Yeah.
opponents that he has to face, or
He runs balls. How do I want to put it? Lost for words right now. This is what happens when you don't get enough sleep in the last 5 days. He makes it look easy at times.
yeah.
And his stroke is top notch. And when he needs to come up with something, it 9 times out of 10 he nails the ball in the pocket.
Well, Not that time. It's 4-4 Ernesto versus Vilmos. Everybody misses.
This is true.
But Chris, I agree with you. Vilmos is quite a phenomenal player. And how about our local hero, Jason Williams?
Jason Williams.
From Concord, California, gets into the hot seat match with Alex Pagulayan. He beats Thorsten HOHMANN in a hill match last night, 11-10.
Jason is a very sneak up on you player.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
And his best game is on the bar tables. A lot of people don't know that. But Jason is a phenomenal bar table player.
Oh, yeah. Well, he kind of survives on that because, there are just weekly tournaments at different rooms that he goes to in his local area. What just happened?
Well, he would call that a brain fart. It looks like he just took it for granted and was off to the next ball and
rushed
couldn't finish it. And that one's going to hurt.
Wow, 7-2, and that's actually
that sure does put the brakes on the comeback.
That's pretty big. Yeah, that's a pretty big game right now for Thorsten to not get. By the way, also, I'm so glad that, you still work with Janet Okamoto and Ken Schumann. I love both of those individuals. They're just wonderful, tournament coordinators and directors. It's always great to see Ken Schumann, and we always love to see Janet, too.
Janet runs an amazing tournament, and I love her to death.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring her in here is because once she takes the board, I don't have to worry about it. She's in full control, and she's very good with the players. Everybody knows her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's seamless when she runs it. And what can you say about Ken? Ken is
a professional.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that man likes to talk. So why not put him in a position where he talks? And, he's a good referee. And he knows every single player. So, yeah, for me, having them here takes all the pressure off of running the event. I did when I first took over California Billiard Club in Mountain View.
You ran everything.
A lot of the tournaments myself.
I remember.
And not to say I don't like running them, but it's hard to run those tournaments with 100+ players and try to run the business at the same time. Because every single tournament, there's always something that happens that I have to deal with, and it's the analogy is better of it's really hard to play in a tournament and run a tournament. Well, it's twice as hard to run a business and run a tournament at the same time. So Dennis looks like he's back in cruise mode. I don't see anything that is an issue with this rack.
Well, that's why that last game for Thorsten was so important.
Well, the other thing I've noticed started last night and obviously this morning is the tables are starting to settle down. The breaks are starting to become better. They're spreading better. The clock is starting to get a little bit more broke into. Wow.
Wow, he missed.
So we call that fatigue.
Well, maybe he's got sleep deprivation as well.
Well,
And he was jacked up over the
both
ball.
shots that you just saw that were missed
Yeah.
were both of them rushing,
Mm-hmm.
not looking at it, and just firing and not taking their time. And I think fatigue has a little bit to do with that. You know, as much as I like the time in between matches yesterday and them taking this a little bit slower, they still get worn out. This is it's a long battle. The battle, every match they have is a tough match. There's no easy match in there.
Well, yeah, because we only, because of the size of the field, you extended the races.
And the quality of the field.
You extended the races to 11.
Which has allowed players to come back. Again, having winter break instead of alternating break allows a player that's down 7-2 to make a push to get back. They still have a chance.
I really like the winter break
Yes.
format.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in 10 ball.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Alternating break is great for players that are not at high quality like these players are. It allows them to break, get to the table, and play. Players at this quality, at this level, they need to be able to run. They need to be able to put racks together. They need to be able to make racks. Because then you actually see what they can do.
yeah.
Alternating break slows down a player's momentum. When you start to get that momentum, when you're running 1, 2, 3 racks, that alternating break really kills your momentum to do that.
Yeah.
And when you have a break like these guys do, it makes this game a lot more fun to watch.
I think that, just in general, you should shoot until you miss. Period.
Absolutely. You know what?
Unless you're playing Scotch doubles, buddy.
Well, this is true.
But you know what I mean?
For me, playing in tournaments, when I've played in tournaments, as much as it sucks to get race to 8 and lose 8-1 or 8-0, it's a pleasure to watch somebody do a 6-pack, 7, 8-pack, and run a set. Is it a bad loss for you to take? Yeah, but it's good to see.
It's the stuff that creates legends. You know what I mean? And the same thing with. I'm really happy these are evenly raced, evenly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Matched up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not evenly matched up. They're not handicapped.
Right. You know what?
So they play even.
There's a place in time for handicap tournaments, but players do not grow in handicap tournaments. If you look at the data and you look at the tournaments, you will see a player that has played for 10 years that's the exact same handicap forever, because they don't have that drive to know that every single shot that they make could be the last shot at the table.
Yeah.
When you're playing a person, even up, no matter how good they are, you tend to focus more and you tend to shoot from the start to the finish better.
I think it's always important as a player to know where you stand with the rest of the bunch too, and you can't really do that playing handicap format.
Correct.
Here we go. Is Dennis going to go airborne? I mean, I don't. No.
No, I think he's got
playing
an angle.
cue. He's playing to cut this in the corner.
Well, it's a two-way shot. If he misses, he's bringing the cue ball back down underneath the 3.
Yeah, he wants shape on the 3. I think he wanted to stop before the 8 ball.
Right.
He's hooked himself.
So now the jumping part does tend to lend itself to this shot.
Yeah, you're right about that. And Dennis is sponsored by Tiger. He'll use this Tiger Wings cue. with the jump cue that he's
Danny,
got.
Jump cues.
Huh?
Jump cues. Good
Okay.
for the sport, bad for the sport.
I think, you know, I don't think they affect it, you know. I think they should be legal, you know. I don't think you should use them in one pocket. I think there's a time and a place for a jump cue. If you can master the art of jumping, then go for it.
I've listened to a few pros here and there. You know, obviously, there's pros and cons to jumping. But I always hear the same thing. I play a good defensive shot,
And they jump
and they
on
jump
me.
over, and they get out of that situation.
Yeah.
And my response to that is, you didn't play a good defensive shot because you allowed him the room to jump over a ball.
Yeah, yeah.
A good defensive shot is putting a guy against
Freeze
the
him.
wall.
Yeah.
So I'm good with jumping.
Yeah.
Because, all honesty, even a good example, John Schmidt, when back in, I don't want to say his heyday, but back, 10, 15 years ago, that man jumped everything and anything and was extremely consistent on how he jumped.
Schmitty?
Schmidt.
Yeah.
The reality is, jumping a ball is not a guaranteed make. There is a percentage of miss, and there's a percentage of not being able to control the cue ball. So I enjoy when I play somebody behind a ball and they like to jump over it, because I would say 7 out of 10 times
They're going to
you're
miss
get a shot.
anyway. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that's the thing is, jumping is still a hard shot.
Absolutely. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah. I much prefer the conversation of, is 9-ball slop counts good for the sport, or is 10-ball call your pocket good for the
I'm
sport?
going to answer that question straightforward right now. 9-ball slop is absolute ruin the game of 9-ball.
Absolutely,
So
I agree.
this
I agree
is
with you.
my point.
That's what the conversation
Reality
I'd
is,
rather have.
There's a reason why 10-ball exists. It's because it was 9-ball. This is 9-ball
Yeah.
without the 10-ball.
Yeah.
Through the years, they've changed everything about it. If they would go back to 9-ball being called just like 10-ball, it would be a good game again.
Ernesto shooting at an easy 10-ball. This is quite a long rack, Chris.
What's up?
This is a long rack these guys have had.
Yes.
Still 7-2, if I'm not mistaken,
Both have missed,
and played
easy
safe.
shots.
Yeah. Hmm.
and now you're noticing they're slowing down. They're taking their time. I think it wakes you up a little when you miss a shot.
Yeah,
What you should-
when a few innings
yeah.
go by and you realize how badly you're
Oops.
playing.
Right. So I'm gonna bet your money that Dennis is out here.
That, yeah, well, of course. You want to know? I mean, I started a dialogue in the chat room that's, Dennis won the Cole Dixon, he won the one pocket, and he could potentially win this 10-ball. He has to do a lot of work to get there, though. And I said,
he definitely has a potential to do it. If anybody,
Yeah,
this left in
yeah.
this tournament.
But the only thing preventing him from sweeping the whole West Coast swing is that he has to go back to the Philippines in like a week or so.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well, the one thing that is definitely going to be in his way today is Alex.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Alex Pagulayan is in our 2016 West Coast Swing Hot Seat. West Coast Challenge Hot Seat.
I'll tell you, it's always a pleasure watching Alex play.
He's an entertainer, man.
Absolutely.
Ooh. He knew he was headed to a scratch. Got lucky. Look at this break.
The layout looks good. You know, it looks like the two is clear.
Yeah, I think the two goes.
Right.
And the three's over by a pocket too, so.
It looks like, I don't believe the 4 goes by the 5. I mean, obviously, they play the combo, or he's going to have to play opposite corner for the 4, but everything. Now you can bump the 5 out of the way here, shoot the 2.
I think that's what he'll do right now, just bump it. Maybe he'll cinch off of it with a little draw. He's just got to watch out that the
He's got to be
5,
careful not to scratch.
Yeah, or the 5 doesn't come back and hit him again. Or,
Right.
You know.
Because I'm guessing he's going to draw between that 5 and 8, try to get down here to 3.
Yeah.
Or just spin out of it.
Just any time you come in contact with another ball, all kinds of weird stuff happens,
Right.
and you know. But a player of his caliber, he actually is probably good enough to estimate.
Wow.
I think that was a flyer.
It was definitely.
That was a flyer.
I definitely didn't see that direction. That's why he's on the table and I'm sitting here talking
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, but honestly, anything could have happened there.
So I think we call that freewheeling.
Yeah.
And right now, everything seems to work and line up perfectly.
That 5 passes the 8 to the side, so he can play for the corner. Ooh. Played a good cue ball there to get perfect shape.
Something else I want to mention is most people that know me know that I'm absolutely against anything that racks the ball besides a rack. But I'm going to be absolutely honest and say that using the turtle rack for this tournament and myself using it, I actually enjoy that rack. I've always been against the magic rack.
The template rack.
Yes. But I do have to say that this rack, this form of the rack is much better. Love it. It plays better. It holds the ball better. And I'm happy I use it. I mean, this is, like I said, this is the first tournament I've actually used something that actually sits on the table.
It's interesting. I'll ask you a little bit about that later. You know, I kind of like that turtle rack too. I think it's a good rack. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you to Thorsten HOHMANN and congratulations. He's going to receive a fifth, sixth place award of $850.
Yep.
And congratulations to him. Gives him a little bit of travel money for his upcoming appearances at the CSI US Open events in Las Vegas. That's stops 5 and 6 of the West Coast Swing this year. And it's certainly been nice to see him, and also happy don't forget, guys. I just want you to know it's Thorsten's birthday on July 14th, okay? So happy birthday in advance to Thorsten HOHMANN. And if you happen to know him, be sure to get him something nice, a little card or something. Starbucks gift card or anything. Just be thoughtful. So happy birthday to Thorsten, and thank you for watching today, guys. I'm going to toggle over our camera system to Ernesto and Vilmos, who are in the middle of a match right now. Don't go anywhere. We still got action all day. This is the final 6 players, whittling down to final 4. I want to thank Chris Swart for his time with us in the commentary booth as well.
Thank you, Daniel.
You're welcome. I'll be right